What's up, everybody? It's your boy AJ Trip, and today it's another Word According to Me blog that I'm now going to turn into a video blog here. So this one is Submissive versus Subservient, and I wrote this back on Saturday, August 28th, 2010. Um, Now, I think what this was about, I think, if I remember correctly, there was probably a lot of stuff going on around that time where maybe there was a lot of things about the women and about men being soft and women being strong and something like that. So I think this is where that probably came about. And yeah, so I've been hearing about it. I've probably been thinking about it a long time at that time when I was before I wrote this. So and I think and I think my really big thing here was the fact that there's this thing about being a strong woman, and I think at that time I was seeing that yes, women were strong, and it was definitely a strong woman. It was definitely there was a lot of strong women, but a lot of these strong women seemed to be very manly. There was like no femininity about them, and I think that is where this blog came from. Like all of these blogs that I'm going to redo, I'm going to read what I wrote and then comment on it throughout and at the end. And so bear with me as I read this. Then I'll come back at the end and say, oh, I need to stop in the middle somewhere. I'll tell you about it. Start like this. I will fully admit I don't want a dominant woman. At least a dominant one outside the bedroom. So let's continue. Dominant women seem manlier to me. Uh, in this day and age, femininity runs rampant. I have no idea why I wrote that. Right in this day and age, femininity runs rampant. Maybe I meant masculinity runs rampant. I'm not sure. Again, this is 7 years ago, almost 7 years ago, so I don't know what I was thinking about when I wrote that. That doesn't make any sense. Especially if we're talking about a dominant woman seems manlier to me. Continue. I don't really have a problem with it until it's brought up when it doesn't need to be, like the race card. Um, where it's mostly brought up is when a discussion of a man's and woman's role in a relationship is brought up. This is where a lot of women get confused. I'm here to clear up the confusion. When a man wants a woman to cook and clean and take care of the kids while he works, first, first off, the most men will respect the most men. Boy, I swear, there's some reason, no wonder I didn't get nothing from this blog. The way I just type and talk sometimes. First, most men will respectfully ask a woman to do this and not tell them. Secondly, men are willing to compromise, not only with the housework, but also if you do agree to stay home, we compromise about you going back to work after the youngest child is at a certain age. Okay, so I think as I started to read this, and I looked at this earlier just to scan through it, but as I'm now reading this kind of, I think this kind of goes back to that again. During this time, I was really big into the Drex in the Morning Show that came on a radio station here in Chicago, and they would do a lot of topics about the relationships against men and women. And I think there was a lot of times where this did come up, whereas the women would be this they would get mad at the guy for wanting the woman to stay at home and be a stay-at-home mom or something like that. And I think this is where this whole submissive versus subservient thing came from. And I think that's why I wrote this. I remember writing. I made it even because the radio station that he worked for, they had kind of like a social media site that they did that was kind of like MySpace, combination of MySpace and Facebook, something like that. And I think I wrote it on there as well. This same one is there as well. Um, So let's go through this, right? Let's go here. When a man wants a woman to cook and clean and take care of the kids while he works, um, most men will respectfully ask women to do this and not tell them. And I do think that is the case. I think this is something that you talk about, throughout your relationship. I mean, if this is a sticking point for a man where he wants to be the one to be the breadwinner, and he wants to be the one to, go out and work and whatever his job is. He wants his wife to stay at home and take care of the kids and cook and clean the house. That's something that is talked about before I think you even get to the point where you're even thinking about marriage, right? I mean, for me, I've always said, and I'll probably go into this later because I have another blog called like the Dating Rules Revised, something like that. So I would probably go into this more detail at that time. But I always think that you should, definitely talk about everything within the first 3 dates, so that you know, whether or not this relationship needs to go any further than it does, because otherwise there's no sense, no sense if you're going there, for you're wasting each other's time. So I definitely think that is something that should be talked about. Come up. What type of here's my thing. I want a woman to stay at home and do this and do this and do this. Well, I'm the type of woman that I like to go to work. Well, it's not going to work out. So there's something you talk about. Before this even gets down the line. So second, men are willing to compromise. Not only with the housework, but also if you do agree to stay home, we compromise about you not going back to work after the youngest child is around a certain age. I definitely think that is the case. I definitely think compromise is so big in a relationship, and I think that if you are someone, and I'll put this out there, someone like me, I would prefer the wife stay at home and take care of the kids, and I think that is this. But I also understand that sometimes women need their own autonomy, and they need to not be so-and-so's wife, and they need to be so-and-so's mother. They need to be their own person, their own, woman. And that's why I understand that. So I definitely think I definitely think you should be able to compromise. Now, for me, it's not that big of a deal. If a woman says, no, I'm not, thank you for wanting to compromise, but I really want to go out and I want to have kids, and I want to we'll figure it out somehow. It's not that big of a deal for me, so I'm just gonna go, okay, well, that's not what I want. Okay, whatever, because I know there are things I'm not going to compromise on. So if she's not gonna compromise, I'll pick and choose my battles that way. But but I definitely do think that there should be some compromises. I think that is a definitely good one. Especially if it's not like a big paying money job or something like that. If it's just, if the guy makes enough money that he doesn't need the wife to work, but that she wants to work. I think that may be a good thing. Maybe say, okay, well, I'll stay home to the kids. Something like that. Maybe to the kids, our youngest child turns 12, something like that, or something like that, and then where he or she can come to and from school, without stuff happening and things like that, and being able to stay home and not F up the house, while I'm at work and while you're at work, something like that. So I definitely think that's the kind of give and take a relationship should have. I think that's the ideal. Again, I think some people might be like me, and some people might, like I said, you may not want to compromise on that. You may want to say, stay at home and work, or if you're a woman, you might want to say, well, I'm going to work, I'm not staying home, for no matter what. After I have my baby, I get my 6 weeks of paternity leave, and I'm going back. That's what. And then we also know there are times when women have a baby and she thinks she's going to go back to work, but she can't leave that child. And I think there's some guys like that too. You just can't. That's your child, and that's just a beautiful thing that you have there. And so you can't, you can't take yourself away from her or him. And so then you just quit altogether. You know what I'm saying? And you didn't even think that you was, but you can't take away from you can't get yourself away from that. So that happens as well. Okay, so now let's go back. That was the first paragraph. Let's go to the second paragraph again. Um, Now, here's where things get jumbled. Some women seem to think when a man asks for this that they're trying to make them a slave. Now, I don't want to speak for most men, but I will. I think while women think men want them to be subservient, and maybe some do, we really just want to be a man. What I mean by that is being the breadwinner, the decision maker, bill payer, the stereotypical male in a relationship. Now, this isn't 1820. Most men don't expect you to sit down, shut up, and look pretty. But we would like women to let us lead. Instead of fighting us on each and everything, let us have our way within, of course. Be submissive, or another word might be passive. Okay, so I kind of said a little bit of that earlier. But yeah, I definitely think what I wrote right there was definitely true. I definitely think that, and you might say, well, that's you shouldn't think like that. That was when I wrote that 2010. This is now 2017. Things happen, especially since the recession and everything like that, where you might not be able to be the breadwinner, you know. But I could kind of think again, like I said, I don't want to speak for all men. But I definitely think there is something within us that says, there's something. I think there are two things about being a man that is within all of us. Some of us have different ways of being a man. Like I will forever say that fixing a chair or building a table or changing oil in the car or changing a tire on the car does not make you a man. I will say that forever. One thing, because I don't do those things, and I know I'm a man. So I will forever fight on that. But then I will also always fight on the things of saying that I think one of the things that does make you man is to get out there and be the breadwinner, and and maybe make the most money. Even if it's a 2-income household, you would make the more money. And having your wife make more money, although it doesn't make you any less of a man, it doesn't make you feel that good. You know what I'm saying? You feel me on this one? So I definitely think that. And the other one is a sexual thing, and we won't go into that because that's not what this is about. Sexual. This is about just life, I guess. Yeah, listen. We're not. I think most men we don't want you to, sit down, shut up, and look pretty. We don't want you to, be stuck in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant. That's not something that we are. I definitely think there are some people out there that think that is the best way for life to be. The man talks, the woman doesn't talk, and when she stays in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant, he goes out, slaughters the bacon, slaughters the pig, comes home and says, "Cook it up, honey." I think people, and there are some men out there that, and I think there are even some women out there that say that may be what the best thing is. There was something that's actually very funny. I was actually watching Law and Order SVU reruns the other day, and there was the episode where Rollins' sister Kim had kind of set up the murder of her husband so that they can get some money. And when they were arguing about it, there was a line that she said to Rollins that was just it blew you the fuck away. Mama always said that ambition is gonna get you. I was like, what? Wait a minute. No, that's not. No. It's not something that you. It's not. No. It's not bad to have ambition. It's good. So kind of like that. There's people like from Georgia and the South and that kind of crazy Southern thinking, I guess maybe. But I find that hilarious, and I think that kind of correlates to to where I was writing here. It was like maybe some men might say, yeah, women shouldn't have it. Yeah, the woman's ambition should be a mother and a wife and a homemaker. But I don't think that. Again, this isn't 1820. I think and I do think there should be other things that women should want to do, and I don't think any man is saying no. I think most men welcome that. I just really think when it comes down, hey, listen, if we buy a 60-inch, 60-inch TV, we don't want to get yelled at. I think maybe that's one of the big things. Well, why'd you spend $4,000 on a 60-inch screen TV, baby? I'm the man. My ball, no. And maybe even that's maybe going a little bit too misogynistic. Maybe saying I'm the man, I make the decision. Let's not talk about it. Something like that. It's my money. I do what I want. And by the way, which I'm going to say this, I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea. I don't necessarily think that having separate bank accounts for those who do have like two income homes, having a separate bank account, I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea. I think if there is a one income home, whether you're the man or the woman, I don't think that's a good idea to have your significant others like name on the checkbook or have access to your bank cards or anything like that. I really don't. I don't think that's a very good idea. That's just on me. But anyway, so yeah, I think this isn't 1820s, and we don't we want everything to be okay. I guess we're just saying we just want it to be our idea. They just say this okay, and then let us buy it. We need this, we need that. Okay, I'll go get it. That's and again, maybe that's something that we need to stay away from. But I don't. We're not coming from a bad place when we say that. We're not women. We're not coming from a place where we're trying to keep you down and nothing. Believe me, we really aren't. So let's go to this final paragraph here. Being submissive won't preclude you from being a strong woman. Cooking and cleaning for your man doesn't make you subservient. Have an opinion. Tell us how you feel. Go to work. Do whatever you want. Just maybe defer to us more often. And don't think we're trying to make you a slave. As I write this, I'm not going to leave out the guys either. Please and thank you go a long way to softening women. Sometimes maybe women feel they need to be dominant so that we won't use them or mistreat them. So even though I started this trying to explain to women our side, I end this letting the guys know that to be treated like a king, don't treat your queen like a chambermaid. And I think that's a great way for me to have ended that blog. Because you definitely, like I said, it does go both ways. I mean, there had to be an action for a reaction, and maybe the reaction for all of the women getting so upset at men for wanting them to be submissive in a relationship is the fact that there were men who just thought that here honey, go get me a beer, and when she and give you the beer, goes around and drink it and doesn't say thank you. She tells her to go. She say, "Can't you go get me a beer, please?" Just come. Thank you very much, honey. I truly appreciate it. Instead, go get me a beer, wench, and then hey, yeah, and then drink it. And so I think that maybe that turns off the women. So I definitely think that we as men, we definitely had a role in playing in the whole submissive versus subservient idea that women came up with in their heads. We definitely had a role to play in that, and so like I said, we need to be more things. We definitely need to say please and thank you. You need to ask instead of tell. I talked about the TV earlier, right? Something like that. Okay, so if you want to get that 60-inch TV for your man cave, maybe you just say, you know what, baby, I'm gonna go out, spend a little extra money, and get the and get the man cave the 60-inch TV for my man cave. Is that okay with you? It's gonna be a little extra. I understand that. It's gonna. We might need that, but I just right now I just kind of need my own place right now. I just want to let you know, get your opinion on it. And even if you still go out and get it, but at least you maybe come to her. What I'm saying? Let her in on your thought process, and that's maybe something that she would love. And then of course you'll go out and you'll get it and you'll come back home and then y'all fight about it without question. But at least you let her in on your thought process, so she knows why you went out and got it anyway. Even though she said, "Well, baby, I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe not now. You couldn't. Maybe you could wait a couple more months. So I think all of that comes into effect when talking about the whole submissive versus subservient dilemma that was going on back then. And as for now, again, that I think I heard a lot of it back then. I don't hear a lot about it now. I really don't. I still listen to a lot of radio, but there's not a lot of topics about it. I don't think that because I really do think that in kind of both situations, we kind of become more open-minded to it, right? I kind of think that like they said, there are men that says, my wife works as well. That's good. That's the entire load isn't on my shoulders. I don't have to figuratively and literally break my back to take care of my family. I've got my wife doing it. I have my wife to help out as well. My ride or die. And then maybe we got, the women's end. Well, when I started having kids, my husband was just the greatest guy. My boyfriend, my husband was the greatest guy. He would, take care of me, and he made sure that I had everything I needed for the kids. And day never went by where he didn't tell me how beautiful I was and how much he loved me and how much he thought I was a great mother, things like that. So maybe, like I said, I wrote this on August 28th of 2010, and maybe now this is March 30th, 2017, and maybe things have definitely changed, and maybe this isn't even an issue anymore. But I definitely do want to say that if it is an issue, if you've known people that are having like this issue where maybe there's like the man doesn't feel like he's like the dominant person in the relationship and the woman's more dominant and he doesn't like it, or vice versa, the woman feels like that the man is trying to hold her down, like this, please lead them to this video to so that to let them know that I don't necessarily think that's the case. Please communicate with your significant other, and and come back to this. Know, women, that the man isn't trying to hold you down in any way. He just wants things to maybe be a little more traditional. But I'm pretty sure he's pretty sure that he's open-minded enough to talk to you about this issue and to let you have your own autonomy. And men, I'm sure if you talk to a woman about it, she's open-minded enough to know how you feel about the way things are going, and maybe let you be more of the leader of the house, and maybe and maybe again, I think that if you want her to stay at home, that's something that you need to talk about way before you even get married. But you guys are married or deep into a relationship or something like that, that's you're gonna have to be a little more open-minded about it and just say, well, that's okay, you're gonna go to work, you're gonna do all of this, and that's fine, but just let me be like the man. Let me, that's the only thing I'm asking. I don't want you to be the woman and the man. I want you to be, I want to be the man. I want you to be the woman. And I know that sounds old school, but just give me a little bit of that. Again, it's all about compromise when it all comes down to it, right? Anything in a relationship, I think, comes down to is compromise. I think that's the biggest thing. Okay? Post your comments down below. Tell me what you thought. Is this something that is still going on today and I just don't realize it? Because like I said earlier, I don't think that this is a big thing anymore, like it was, like I was like back in 2010. Please, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, share it with all your family and friends, especially those who are going through something like this, or, you know, something like this. Please share it with them, let them watch it, and see what their opinions are. You know, talk about it. You know, it's all about compromise. I think communication and compromise, the two C's. And please, most importantly, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss anything else that I've got coming up. I think it's going to be very, very interesting for you guys. Alright, that's it for me right now. This is your boy AJ Tripp signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. I am out.